What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Trust the Bank podcast. It's a live show. We didn't have one last week. We felt we wanted to talk with you guys, talk with the people, have a good time. I don't know if we're going to have a good time because it was announced today that Lamar Jackson requested a trade on the 2nd of March.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Lamar Jackson, as he does, announces this right as John Harbaugh's press conference starts.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing about that is, it is at the owners meeting, and every general manager is at this conference. Basically, every head coach is at this conference. And now all of a sudden, the news that comes out is Lamar Jackson requested a trade from the Baltimore Ravens. And funny enough, it was put in on the 2nd, and somebody made this connection. And I saw this and I was like, this is really interesting, because the same day that Rashad Bateman tweeted at Eric DaCosta,
Mm-hmm.
it was the same day that Lamar Jackson requested a trade. And, when you're looking at everything that happened with the Baltimore Ravens and everything that they are doing,
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing is that they are trying to keep him there. And, within the last week, there's reportedly been negotiations going on between the Ravens. So I don't want this to be a Lamar Jackson requested a trade and everybody gets terrified because he's gone. Guys, the reason Lamar requested a trade, I'm going to say this into the microphone so that everybody can hear me. Lamar wants a trade because the Ravens are not willing to meet him at the value that he is requesting. And Mr. Lamar Jackson, no team is looking to meet that value. That's it. You're a superstar, you're top 5 in your position. I'm not a general manager. I can't sign you to a fully guaranteed deal.
Right.
It's not my money. It's their money, and they don't want to spend it.
Right.
And that's why the Ravens tagged him.
Exactly. I mean, and the funny thing is, everybody constantly talk about, we don't know the number or the actual deal that Lamar Jackson is really requesting. So that, that information, that piece of the puzzle is still left to be unknown. So, I mean, it definitely, makes the situation looks more drummed up than it seems to be. If you're unhappy at work, you're going to start looking for applications. You're going to start filling out applications looking for other places of employment. I mean, that's exactly what Lamar Jackson's doing. Can I be mad at it? No, I really can't. I mean, is it a crazy situation? Of course, but it's so many people that's going to try to put on the hat of a general manager or owner, and kind of discredit what Lamar has done for the Ravens. And I get that people say, hey, before Lamar we were still a Ravens organization. We was above 500, or at 500 before Lamar came on the scene. But at the same time, it's like, yo, even though we was at 500, the Ravens were still trying to do more, which is obviously get another Super Bowl ring, if that's the case. I mean, yes, he won unanimous MVP. Yes, the past 2 seasons, he did go down towards the end of the season, but before he went down, arguably he was one of the best QBs and had us leading the AFC North. It's just so many variables, I guess, in this equation. It's like, yo, Lamar, we want you here. Lamar's like, yo, but that's the deal I want. And then you got them on a response like, I hear what you're saying. But we can't match that. Let's try something else. So, he's getting frustrated, he's getting irritated. Yeah, he suggested maybe trade him if you can't pay me at my value. People in the media does what it does best. They've been building this, and hey, this is where we at. Hopefully something gets done, whether it's a contract extension or possibly we trade away for picks. For me personally, I love Lamar Jackson as a player. He's always going to have a fan in me, and I hope that he gets a Super Bowl ring, maybe 1 or 2, and have a career where he can be talked about, and to the point where he's in conversations for a yellow jacket, Hall of Fame, because I feel like he could be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Um, it just so much goes on with that man, but nah, I mean, I feel like it'll work itself out, whether he's here with us or he's not with us.
I feel like there's a chance that we get a 30 for 30 on how poorly Lamar Jackson fumbled the bag. I think there's a legitimate chance that happens. Not that I want it to happen, but when you look back at, because everybody likes to make fun of it, right? Guys that fumbled the bag. I think the most notorious in the NFL, there's NBA ones where it's like they turn down, like Victor Oladipo, Dennis Schroeder turned down like $100 million contracts. They get like 9. But Le'Veon Bell, I think, is the best example. Le'Veon was in Pittsburgh. They offered him a contract, and he didn't want it. Sat out a year and signed for less money than the Steelers offered to play with the Jets. And then his career fell into the toilet. Never really was good again.
Yeah.
And Lamar Jackson right now is in a spot where it's like, okay, we understand you want this type of money.
Yeah.
But the issue that we're seeing is we don't want to pay a fully guaranteed deal. We will give you, springing guarantees. We will give you, injury guarantees after the first year, but it's all not going to be guaranteed from day one. And I want people to realize the contract that the Ravens offered him, with the springing guarantees, if like the way that those guarantees wouldn't hit, right? The injury guarantee, like the $40 million extra after year one, is if Lamar Jackson has a career-ending injury. And if people are like, oh, he wants to make sure that he's set, if he does get that career-ending injury, that's what the first $130 million guaranteed is for. Like, I don't think people understand that if you get hurt, why should your job have to pay you, right? It is a major risk. And this isn't me saying Lamar's injury prone. This is any player in the NFL.
Yeah.
It is very difficult to get a fully guaranteed contract because almost no teams are willing to do fully guaranteed contracts unless they're on 1, maybe 2-year deals. I think there's a good chance that Lamar Jackson, his whole thought process was, hey, let's go into the offseason. Even if the Ravens tag me, they're going to exclusive tag me. So I'll be making $42 million this year. And the offer that the Ravens gave reportedly last year was basically the same as the first 2 years were, the non-exclusive or the exclusive tag. So $42 million, and then maybe it boosted up. But it was like, oh no, I'm going to bet on myself. And here's the thing. We all said when Lamar Jackson didn't sign a contract extension the last offseason, right? The whole narrative was he's betting on himself.
We was fine with that.
He was bad with it. Here's the thing about betting on yourself. If it doesn't work, there can be negative consequences to betting on yourself. And I think Lamar Jackson, as much as I love him, disappointed last season. Were there reasons for his disappointment? Absolutely. There were outside factors. They didn't have great wide receivers. They didn't have a good offensive coordinator. I'm not trying to negate everything else. But when you look at the bread and butter, Lamar Jackson went into this season saying, you know what? I'm going to show the world why I deserve the contract that I want. And he didn't put up very good numbers. As much as I love him, I still think he's top 5. I don't.
I mean, we're just being real right now. Like we said, it's a lot of variables you put into this equation.
Yeah. And he doesn't put up great numbers. The Ravens have a decent record. They weren't the best team in the NFL or the AFC like the year they were before when he got hurt. But then he gets hurt. And he gets hurt. And Tyler Huntley, everyone thinks, okay, we're really going to see what the Ravens are without Lamar. And was it brutal to watch? Yeah. But they still made the playoffs. And they almost won the playoff game. It's not like, I don't know if people remember, when Peyton Manning got hurt with the Indianapolis Colts. That was like, we were watching and it was like, oh my gosh, this is a drop-off. And they were the worst team in the NFL. They got the number 1 overall pick, Andrew Luck. They moved on from Peyton Manning. And it was like, wow. And Peyton Manning got a big deal in Denver. It's not like he did bad, but when Lamar wants a fully guaranteed deal and doesn't sign an extension because he's like, I want a fully guaranteed deal, I'm going to bet on myself, and gets hurt, how are you going to expect now a fully guaranteed deal to still happen? Like, and I don't think Lamar, I don't believe in this whole injury prone unless it's some sort of nagging injury, right? I know like turf toe's a nagging injury. I remember AJ Green started to get that and it like kind of derailed his entire career. It was like, oh man, he's back. Oh, turf toe. Lamar Jackson hasn't had anything like that. He hasn't had an injury where it's like, oh, he's going to get hurt again because of it and it's going to re-aggravate. That's not his injuries. He's not getting concussions where every concussion you get more likely to get another concussion.
Yeah.
I'm scared about Tua with that reason. But that's not what happened. And it's like, okay, I don't think he's injury prone, but you've missed the end of the last 2 seasons. And you want a fully guaranteed deal when you have finished, you've played 1 full season in your career. Now, you can argue it's 2. He missed games due to sickness and COVID in 2020. So we'll say 2. We'll say 2 years. He's played 2 out of 5. He has played a full season.
Yeah.
And it's not, the rookie season's not his fault. He didn't get to start yet.
And he did what he could to get into the playoffs, and no adjustments were made again in the playoffs.
And it's just like, I want to see YPC. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says he can't put up great numbers with Greg Roman as offensive coordinator. I agree with that. I fully stand by,
like we said,
the Greg Roman slander.
It's a lot of variables to put into this equation.
Yeah.
When Lamar Jackson's asking for a contract, like the only reason I feel like owners are not reaching out because they never seen him in a pro style offense. So it's like, yo, we seen you in this, Pee-wee offense. Yes, we know you can throw the ball. We know you put up 2,000, 2,500 yards here and there passing. But what do we truly get? I had a discussion with my buddy. Pretty much we talking about the whole Lamar situation or saga, however everybody want to call it. And we talked about, he pretty much said, the Ravens made him in a sense of, Ozzie Newsome got back in the first round and picked him up. I mean, yeah, the Ravens did take a chance on him because he wasn't about to get picked in the first round. But do I strongly believe that if he would have got picked in the second or third, or maybe even the fourth round, that Lamar Jackson will be relevant this day? I strongly believe that because he still was the best QB out of his class, and somebody was going to mess up sooner or later where he was going to step in and do what he did. So I mean, all it takes is the right chance, time, and opportunity. Literally, we saw what a raw QB can do in 2018. He came in, helped us continue winning, got us to the playoffs. Money Morningwig didn't make no adjustments to what the Chargers brought to him in the playoffs. What they did, they said, you know what, we got a quarterback that got a hell of an athletic ability. He got an arm on him, but he's not very accurate. So let's use his athletic ability first before we trust his arm. And that's exactly what they did when they brought in Greg Roman. And what did Greg Roman and Lamar Jackson do in 2019? They set the league at a blaze, at a fire. That he went unanimous MVP. He went crazy. Like when you got a human joystick doing what he do, you don't know how to stop it. Next thing happens. What happens when they get to the playoffs? They rested. They played against a hot Derrick Henry and Tennessee Titans. 7 drops. I think Mark Ingram got hurt that game too.
Yeah, Ingram got hurt like very early on.
And Tennessee was running the ball up and down the dang on field. Man, my thing is,
yeah, Earl Thomas blocking for him.
Hey, and my whole thing is when people start talking about, when it's time to come alive, QBs do miraculous things. Yes, QBs do miraculous things when it's under the lights, when it's game time, things of that nature. At the same time, those QBs, when they talk about the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Brady's, the Patrick Mahomes, they still ain't throwing the dang on ball to themselves. They got guys out there that they can throw it up to, that they know they can trust and come down with the ball. Lamar tried that in 2019 in the playoffs 7 times. And out of those 7, I believe 3 could have been touchdowns. So I'm not taking away that Lamar had his miscues, but it is still a team sport. If Michael Vick could have ran down and caught every ball that he thrown, I believe he could have been a Super Bowl winner, maybe twice in his whole career. But that couldn't happen. He had injuries. He didn't always wasn't in the good scheme. He just sometimes in a bad situation. And yes, Lamar shows potential. He has progressed as a QB, as a passer, in my opinion. But after that 2019 season, with Greg Roman still as the offensive coordinator, it has hindered his career. I wholeheartedly believe that, because it shouldn't take multiple games for your team, your offensive side of the ball, to keep coming to you to say, hey, man, they know our plays. They know our cadences. Are we going to ever adjust anything? It should not take for this situation to constantly be boiling over the way it do. And you know what else is funny, McConnell? Hayden Hurst, Orlando Brown Jr., Hollywood, all of them were able to request trades and get out peacefully. I'm not saying that Lamar is being held hostage here in Baltimore, but but the way they are treating the situation, it shows me that people may say, oh, the organization may not trust Lamar, even though he suggested a trade request. It seems like the organization is trying to salvage whatever is possible left of this business relationship, because they're not going down without a fight of trying to, meet his needs. They even gave him the opportunity to go out there and see what the market is talking about. Now is there collusion involved? I don't know. Do I find it funny that teams were interested before the tag was slapped on them, and then suddenly out of nowhere everybody just said they're going different routes? Yes, but that's not my place. We know the owners, they do have a boys club, believe it or not. But we just gotta continue seeing how this play out, man. We gotta continue seeing how this play out.
And I think what happened was, it was the combine when everyone was saying, oh, this team's interested, this team's interested. Goes to the combine, the GMs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd bet every single GM that had interest in Lamar Jackson went up to Eric DeCosta, and they were like, hey, you got a quarterback, you haven't signed him. Just seeing your thought process, is there any chance that, you'd potentially trade him at all? And I guarantee you, Eric DeCosta looked at them in the face and said, we're not trading Lamar Jackson. He is our quarterback. We fully plan on him being the quarterback. And that's probably why then the Ravens tag Lamar, and then they go, and he probably tells them, yeah, we're going to tag Lamar. We're going to match any offer that is sent over. And then they're like, oh, doesn't make sense to do that. And so they're not reaching out to Lamar. They're not trying to get an offer sheet out there, because they're getting ready for the draft. They're getting ready for everything. Yeah. And Lamar Jackson is frustrated. And so, we heard there was information on how a certain Patriots owner found out that Lamar Jackson was looking to come in. As Robert Kraft says that, who was it? Was it Meek Mill?
How you and Meek Mill that close to be texting each other?
Meek Mill hits up Robert Kraft and he goes, hey, Lamar wants to be traded. And that's how he finds out. And he goes, oh, okay. So it's just like, he's frustrated that no one's reaching out. And the Robert Kraft's like, all right, that's Bill Belichick's decision. And it's like, okay, this is how we're going to build our team. And these teams are set. This is not a good year to be a free agent quarterback. There's only one team that is trying to work on a trade for a quarterback, and it's the Jets and the Packers. And you know how much the Packers want for Aaron Rodgers? 2 firsts.
I mean, at this point, for all what Aaron Rodgers is requesting, on paper, do you feel like it's worth it?
For the Jets? Yeah.
That's like if we asked a crazy load of picks from the Commanders. The reason I'm saying the Commanders would be, excuse me, a easy trade partner for the simple fact they have weapons over there. They have Eric Bieniemy. We talked about this. Ravens fans have talked about it so much that we needed Eric Bieniemy as an offensive coordinator. For Lamar Jackson, XYZ. All right, they got each other. Let's see what they can do over there. But I'm gonna need some picks. I need a first, a second this year, and give me a first for next year too. And you know what they said at this year, McConnell? I think they said at 16. At 16, Joey Porter Jr. is available. And 22, Jordan Addison might be available as well. I got my corner and my wide receiver for the future.
And here's a situation. The Lamar Jackson trade, let's say a team is negotiating. We'll say the Falcons. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Stable team. Actually, we'll go the Raiders. Raiders, I know they've got pick 7 in the draft, one in front of the Falcons. Let's say the Raiders say, we want Lamar, and they negotiate with Lamar. They're negotiating with Lamar. I guarantee you they reach out to the Baltimore Ravens, and they say, hey, we're working on a contract with Lamar. Is this, are you going to match this? And I would bet the Ravens say, we're willing to trade Lamar. If you sign him for that, but it's going to be more than those 2 picks. Maybe we're going to be like, what do you mean? How's it going to be more than those 2 picks? What the Ravens can do is they sign him, right? They sign the offer sheet, and then they go, all right, we match. Now you want this quarterback? We'll trade him to you. We want 3 firsts. We want 4 firsts. We want, if it's the Raiders, we want Devontae Adams and 2 firsts. Whatever. That's not a package that they would ask for, but they could ask for a player. I saw someone saying request, if you make a trade with a team that maybe has a veteran quarterback, you do it. And it's just like, why would any team like Lamar Jackson is in such a bad spot, and the Ravens know it. And I'm not upset. Like, a lot of people are mad at the Ravens for not paying their quarterback.
They're playing.
They're playing smart. They're doing it the exact right way. Like, a lot of people were like, write Lamar a blank check, right? And it's like, no, you write him a smart blank check. Hey, how much money do you want? Lamar goes, I want $55 million a year. And they go, you know what? We can give you that. What we're going to do is we're not going to make it fully guaranteed, because we want to be able to. I got in a debate on Twitter today. This pissed me off. Somebody was comparing the Deshaun Watson to Patrick Mahomes deals due to annual value. And I was like,
are we serious right now?
First of all, Patrick Mahomes isn't Deshaun Watson signed that deal and was instantly a $53 million cap hit every single year. And this year, Deshaun Watson came out and said, he was like, yeah, I put my team in a bad spot, and he restructured it because it was so bad. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, the Ravens can sign Lamar and then just restructure it. And it's like, you can't negotiate the restructure, because the restructure is changing how they're getting their money. And he doesn't want to change it. He wants it a specific way. And Sito, with his super chat, thank you so much, says, I respect Lamar's hustle and desire to get money he wants, but I feel some fans are being unfair to the Ravens, like they disrespect Lamar by giving him top of the market money. That is 100% correct. I think a lot of people are forgetting the Ravens offered Lamar Jackson, I believe, the second most guarantees ever. The second most guarantees ever. And people are frustrated that they're not giving him that money. And EHJD, this is for, I gotta change, hold on, let me change this color. We're not doing this yellow thing. I'm changing that right now. There we go. The 133 was guaranteed in the first year. After 1 year, it's 175. Like, that 133 is not how that contract was worded. That is not what the contract was. It wasn't 133 over 3 years. That is the fully guaranteed day one signing. After 1 year, bumps up to 175. After 2 years, it was 200 guaranteed. Very different than...
The 4th year was the incentive of him just playing being healthy the whole year, right?
After the first, it was as long as you're healthy.
Yeah.
and you can play next season, you get the 175 million guaranteed.
That was like
Premium
5 days into the
guarantees.
new season or something like that.
Yeah. It's like,
Okay.
so unless you get a severe career-ending injury, which makes sense from the team perspective. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the smartest man, smartest woman to ever exist. Let's say Albert Einstein walks in and you want a physics teacher at an elementary school. You're a very well-funded elementary school. We'll put it that. And they say, hey, we'll pay you $5 million a year. And if you don't die this year and you can continue teaching next year, we'll give you an extra 5. And he goes, I want the 10 million no matter what. And you're like, dude, the only way that you're not getting this money is if you physically cannot teach. He goes, I need the money. It's like, dude, no, it makes sense. If you cannot perform and cannot play, why would you get money? It's not like we're paying them bare it makes sense in sports where the players are very underpaid, right? Yeah. Maybe it's maybe you're in like an MMA contract, right? Where it's something where it's like, you're maybe not making as much money as you should. Maybe you're not making, I know the WNBA, they really don't make a lot of money, right? So maybe in a situation like that where they're like, I need money, it's like I need livelihood money, then it's like, okay, then it kind of makes sense for them to really need it. Bro, you're making 140 million. If you can't live off of 140 million for the rest of your life because you got in severe injury, which then you would also then be getting the NFL, career-ending injury bonuses that they give you because they help take care of healthcare and all that stuff. I'm sorry, you're not going to get that deal.
And for the record, anybody that's in the chat, I don't know how many we got in, but thank y'all for being in here with us. I'm just gonna put it out there now. If Lamar leaves, and if you guys decide to leave, that's on you all. But if you've been Ravens fans, you've been rocking with Ravens Nation, y'all been rocking with Trust, the bank, the podcast and everything like that. Keep rocking with us, baby. We're gonna keep on dropping content. And also make sure y'all drop comments here and also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We still doing the giveaway when we get the 50 reviews, likes, whatever the case on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Shameless plug. I think but when it comes to Lamar, man, his contract, man, if he's I love him. But if he's asking for a deal, like how an NBA player gets a max contract, or let's put it like this: if he's asking for a $289 million contract, like a LeBron James, 3 years, okay, I see why we haven't been able to get nowhere. But if you're asking for I'm gonna say ballpark. Right now, he's worth 230 for me. 5-6 year deal, 230 for me. I don't know if that's too much for the Ravens to the whole to pay him, but I can go 236 years.
And I like that year. 230. I like 230 for 5 years. 56 million guaranteed. That's what Deshaun Watson got. I'm fine with that. And here's the reason why people think it's doable. I'm sorry to everybody that this pertains to. 99% of football fans do not understand the salary cap. They don't. And the expectation, because what a lot of you, the cap is fake, right? That's what people say. The reason that teams are able to do these restructures and teams are able to move the money around is because when they sign the initial deals, they give themselves flexibility. And so what they're able to do is then they're able to convert the money into cash over salary. And when you convert it into cash, it doesn't hurt the cap. So when you look at all of these teams and you look at, what the Ravens are trying to do, if you give someone a fully guaranteed deal and you tell them, let's convert this, they're going to be like, why? Why would I need to? I'm already getting all of my money. Whereas when the Ravens look and they say, hey, Ronnie Stanley, why don't we pay you some of this cash that we're maybe going to give you farther in the future? We're going to give it to you right now. And Ronnie goes, yeah, I'll do it. Or you hit that, you extend them, you push the money forward. But when you're a fully guaranteed deal and you keep pushing the money, you end up in a situation like the Saints ended up. And he wasn't even fully guaranteed, but the Saints ended up with Michael Thomas. They just had to keep pushing the money. And then you get screwed. And unless, luckily for the Saints, Michael Thomas fell off. If Michael Thomas was still the Michael Thomas that was breaking records, there's no way he's like, no, we're not doing that. He's like, instead, he was able to restructure and get like $11 million. But that's because he knew he wasn't getting that money. He was getting cut. So he was able to stay. This idea of just, we can sign him and then just restructure him later. You have to sign them with a good initial contract that doesn't have big cap hits every year. The reason why Deshaun Watson's contract was so bad was because it was a $53 million cap hit every year for 5 years. Do you know how much money the average, Super Bowl winning quarterback is making? It's like $30 million cap hit. Not money that they're making that year, but cap hit. That is what they're making. And YPC, thank you so much for the super chats. We'll get to those right now. Says, I don't understand about him getting hurt, why they couldn't pay him after 2019. Why couldn't they pay him after winning a playoff game on the road? Injury doesn't matter when you had time to do it. Now, I'll say the reason why they didn't pay him after 2019 was
I was about to say
was his second year. You can't extend him. Can't extend him then. You can extend him after 2020, after the third year. But at the same time, they were like, we got another year, and then we have him. Like, you want to keep him on the benefit is the rookie contract. That's when you want to keep him.
That's true, but even on the rookie contract, they did nothing. They did nothing for him in regards of adding pieces.
Oh, that's true as well.
I mean, and my whole thing is, if you was going to strike a deal the year before last with Deshaun Watson getting paid, Russell Wilson getting paid, Kyler Murray getting paid, I don't know if Josh Allen got that extension around that same offseason, or it was like a year before, or like a year after. But that was the marketing window to actually sit down and get that contract that she was possibly desiring. They probably would have bit more on that. But when you're in a class with Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith, Jacoby Brissett, Chad Henne, the list goes on and on of how many low-level tier guys he was in and for this free agency class. And even to say he's still the only relevant quarterback out of his 2018 group, too. So is it blasphemy? Is it a debacle? Does it make you mad? Sure. But at some point in time, as much as Lamar Jackson wants to be a businessman, I wholeheartedly respect what he's trying to do, how he's trying to create his legacy, how he's trying to keep, a middleman out of it, so, he can keep all his money, even though agents only take about between 1% and 3% of their cut of being his agent. You still have to do things in order. When you do things in a certain order, you can get blessed. And because, of how he's been doing things, it's not the time right now. It's not the time. If I'm Lamar Jackson, or excuse me, let me rephrase it. If I'm the organization, I say, hey, Lamar, you said to the media, you said to us that you was going to prove that last year you were going to prove it, and you was going to be able to, we was going to be able to give you the deal that you want. We still want you to be part of the Ravens organization. We still want to give you a deal, but how about you prove it to us again? Stay healthy this whole year. Get us to an AFC championship. We'll go ahead and invest in this offensive side of the ball, get you some pieces, and let you work out with Todd Monken. If you can get us to an AFC championship, let's really sit down, business to brand to business, man to man, whatever they want to call it, and let's work this deal out because we want you here. Because, like I said, clearly they're letting Lamar see what the market is out there, but they still want him here in Baltimore.
YPC, again, thank you for the super chat. This is what I want to say. How many people hate the Ravens for having Ronnie Stanley, right? How many people get mad every year? Why are we paying Ronnie Stanley? He's always hurt. And yet, the same people consistently want to pay a quarterback. Again, as much as I love him, the fact is he has been injured and not finished the season in consecutive years. And you want to pay him a fully guaranteed, long-term, record-breaking contract. But that's what we did for Ronnie. We gave Ronnie a record-breaking contract, and he was healthy his whole career. I'm not saying Lamar's going to get hurt. I'm saying there is risk involved in contracts. We had to sit and watch the Ravens play Joe Flacco and play Joe Flacco and play Joe Flacco because we were paying him so much we couldn't get rid of him. Lamar's better than Joe Flacco. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say is you get stuck when you are paying people. You get stuck. And when you look at what the Ravens are trying to do, and Sato, thank you so much for the super chat right here. This is, another great.
No, that's facts. That's facts.
He says sometimes people forget you can love Lamar but still be objective about the situation. And I don't know if objective is kind of factual. Maybe just like look at it from an outside lens. You don't have to be objective. You can be a fan. You can have a little bit of subjectivism. You can give insights. Like I want the Ravens to keep Lamar. But when you look at some of the things about it, it's like it makes sense why he hasn't been signed, why the Ravens haven't given on, all of these questions. And YPC, thank you so much for the super chat, said, but Lamar went on Twitter and said he never demanded $200 million. I think he said that he was never offered $200 million guaranteed. I don't think Lamar's ever said what he's asking.
Yeah, he hasn't put out there as far as the numbers.
Yeah.
Unless, we missed it. So, like, fine.
I don't think Lamar has said that. I don't think he said anything about any numbers other than the Ravens didn't offer me 133. Or didn't. I think he said the Ravens didn't offer me 200. He said, like, they offered me 133 or something.
Yeah, when Shefty put out there about the 133 and everything, he kind of, like, laughed it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Miguel, he keep on saying the weapon got him hurt. No, Cooper, whatever his name was from the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
He worked the hell out of Kevin Zeitler and Morgan Moses all damn day. And he got to Lamar. So that was the offensive line that got him hurt. and the first time he got hurt, the middle linebacker for the Cleveland Browns at the time?
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Yeah, he got 4.2 speed. He ran him down, clipped him up.
And overall, this whole situation, it's like, I've said this before. I've said this plenty of times before. I am fine if we move on from Lamar, if you do it in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm not saying get rid of him, do nothing. I'm not saying, let's go after Will Levis. Let's go after Anthony Richardson. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying, you know what? The Ravens can be fine if they trade Lamar, right? And they get something that they can build around. Will the Ravens be worse off in the immediate future, next season, if Lamar Jackson is gone? Absolutely. But 3 years down the line, I don't know.
I'm taking a 3 year. I'm taking a 3 year under 500, maybe 500 one season. Give me Arch Manning. I don't care. Give me the prodigy. Give me Arch Manning in the next 3 years. Because the reason I say that, I feel like he's gonna be a pro set ready QB. Do not give me another project type of guy. There's nothing against Lamar. There's nothing against AR-15. Hell, it's nothing against Malik Cunningham. Just give me a guy that we can put in and have a system where he can thrive.
Yeah.
And not a gimmick system.
Schefter did say that the 133 was fully guaranteed. It's called springing guarantees. Injury guarantees and springing guarantees. That's how they're worded. They're called guarantees. They're not fully guaranteed. Fully guaranteed means guaranteed money directly at signing day of. And that was 133 million, which Schefter said. And then Schefter said it's 200 million guaranteed, which is the total guarantees, including the springing guarantees. That's what the reports were. And Robert, I agree in how much it means to have a top tier quarterback. But at the same time, think about this. I want to find, you know what? I'm pulling up my tweet. Because I worded this perfectly earlier today, and I can't remember exactly how I said it. I cannot remember exactly how I said it, and I need to know. Let's see. You can't replace generational talent, but you also can't cripple your team to keep them. Like, you can't just offer unlimited money, right? The Chiefs wouldn't pay Patrick Mahomes $150 million a year. Right? They can't because of the cap space. Somebody said it in the comment section earlier. I can't remember who it was, but they said, it seems like Ravens fans want this to be like baseball, where there's no cap. And spoiler alert, if there was no cap, the Ravens would be screwed. I think Orioles fans know this. Orioles fans know this, right? It would be the teams with more money. And it's like, it's okay. Like, here's the thing. Here's the most valuable things in the NFL. When you look at the best teams, there's two tiers. We have Patrick Mahomes, maybe the greatest talent the NFL has ever seen. And then there's our quarterback is on a rookie deal. Those are the tiers. It's not Patrick Mahomes and then superstar quarterbacks, getting big money. That's not the second tier, because who's the superstar quarterbacks getting big money? It's the Cardinals. It's the Packers. It's the Raiders last year. Or Raiders, he's not a superstar, but it's the Broncos, right? Those are the stars getting big money. Then you look at the guys on the rookie contracts last year. Bengals, Ravens, 49ers. 49ers had 2 rookie contracts. Eagles, Chargers, right? Those were the best teams in the NFL. It was all young guys, and those were the ones competing. It's not about having the best, it's having the best situation. Because, and again, I'm fine with extending Lamar, but this idea of, we just have to pay him is ridiculous to me. As much as I love him, as much of a Lamar Jackson fan as I am, and people that have watched the channel, you guys know I'm a Lamar fan. I hype up Lamar so much. But I also have always been very honest about my opinions with the Ravens. Joshua, we both have, about, certain players, certain coaches, and everything. That's our goal, is to be honest. And honestly, rebuilding around a young quarterback here's the thing, we have good assets, right? The Ravens are a great team for a young quarterback to come into. Why? Because they have a coach that's going to work with him. Then they have a very good defense, good offensive line, and a run game. And a and a tight end, right? Like,
I'm gonna be honest. If we rebuild, we gotta let go John.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm fine with letting go of John. I'm fine with that.
And J.K. Dobbins, his contract is gonna be up this year too, end of the season. So
his contract could be up this season, but honestly, if we lost J.K.,
I know. I'm just saying,
I'm just we have so many things going for this organization, and it's like if Lamar leaves, the Ravens aren't winning the Super Bowl next year. They're probably not making the playoffs. But look at like all the other teams where it's like, oh, if you lost your quarterback, you're screwed, right? Like if the Bills lost Josh Allen, they're screwed. Because the Bills roster outside of Josh, like they don't have a great O-line. They've got a good defense. They got some decent weapons. They don't have a run game. Like if the Ravens lose Lamar, it's like, okay, you could draft somebody. Like let's say they get number 4. He goes to the Colts, whatever.
Yeah.
And you draft yourself Stroud. Let's say Young goes 1, maybe someone takes Richardson, whatever. You get Stroud. Like, would Stroud not, like, Stroud would have a great spot. Look at what the San Francisco 49ers did for a 7th round final pick in the draft. Look at what they did. They won every single game he played. Not because he was a superstar. I think Brock Purdy's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's fine. I think he could be really good. I think he's, he's a smart quarterback. I mean, he plays the game right. He plays it how Kyle Shanahan wants him to play. But they were able to win, and they were able to be great. And the reason they lost in the playoffs was he got hurt. Then the backup got hurt. And so it was like they could have lost with him. I'm not saying they would have won with him. They won 9 games, I think, that he started. 9-0, including the playoffs, I believe was their record.
Hold on.
Build a roster and add a quarterback, and you can be successful. If you try and have a quarterback and build a roster around it, it doesn't work in the NFL. It never has. Never has.
Anybody requesting that we go out the AR-15? No, he's another developmental guy. No,
I would take AR-15 at 22. I would say that. Like I would take
AR-15 if we still had Joe Flacco. I'm not taking.
If we had someone to start, I like that. Yeah. If we had someone to kind of
like, I feel like he would work better in like Seattle.
Well, I'm pretty sure Joe Flacco may be a free agent, so I don't know.
No, I'm not saying.
I'm just saying. We can bring in Joe.
Listen. At this point, if Lamar is gone, give me picks. Let me go through hell for the next 3 years. Give me Arch Manning. Give me EJ in the next year, or either Blake Corum as running back to replace Gus, or either JK. Like, if you're going to build, go ahead and build. That's my whole thing. Like, John Harbaugh said today, we are planning to have Lamar Jackson by week 1. And I feel like in his whole heart, he meant that. He wasn't just being a politically correct answering coach at that moment in time. I felt it in his heart that he meant that. But he also said, we're going to build an offense that will still be sustainable for another QB to step in.
Yeah.
Well, my brother, you really didn't do that with Greg Roman. So this year, y'all better, Tom Munkin and company, y'all better build an offense that will be sustainable with any QB. Because it's been so many guys that we've seen go down, get hurt. I mean, how? Look at Drew, look at the Patriots. When Drew Bledsoe went down, Tom Brady stepped right in. Nobody really didn't know who Tom Brady was. He drafted like 4th, 5th round back then. 6 out of University of Michigan. Nobody expected Tom Brady to be who he is today. Have 6 rings, put New England on the map. Oh, 7, my bad. He got the last one with Tampa? Yeah. And even came back. Ran almost a similar style of offense. Called his old buddy out of retirement. Hey, he said, "Hey man, I know you've been partying like Dennis Rodman, but I need you to come on back." Had him, had Mike Evans. It's different. It's levels to this, man. Straight up, it's levels. It's levels. And honestly, the Ravens didn't do the due diligence. They didn't do they didn't do a good service to Lamar in regards of involving him in his game. And that I feel like he did everything that he could possibly do what was asked for in that offense that was given to him with the weapons that was given to him, and it didn't amount to what we all wanted. I feel like the Ravens put a team together where they can still be relevant. I don't feel like they put a team together that can truly win a Super Bowl. Last time that offense went to the Super Bowl was in 2012, and they got hindered because the lights turned off, and also an old team, an older defense caught up with their behinds. And we're being completely honest. That type of style of offense is a style of offense that you have to keep on running, and you can't afford to take no breaks. And we kept on seeing it. You know, when a running back goes down or Lamar goes down, that offense is not the same. It's not.
Yeah, and for people that are interested, we're doing a giveaway once we hit 50 reviews on Apple Podcasts. I'm putting the link in here and I'm pinning it. If anyone wants to review on Apple Podcasts, it's not required. But once we hit 50, we're going to be doing a review. This episode will be posted onto Apple Podcasts later for anybody that wants to listen to it or anything like that. So if anybody's interested in that, just wanted to throw it out there. We got 110 people in here. Anybody with an iPhone, you can do it.
Man,
you can review it.
Appreciate y'all being in here with us, man. For real.
The reviews do really help out the channel. So, you know, I don't want to push it too much, but they really do help out and help with growth and help bring new people into the family. Because after Lamar Jackson leaves, we may need to find more people. Just kidding. But overall,
it's the truth.
Like, I'm going to say this from my perspective. As a fan, for me, because being a fan means different things to different people. I want to see championships. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Some people, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, want to see flashiness, spectacle, brilliance. And I think the people that are like, give Lamar the blank check, I think they're looking for unbelievably entertaining. Because let's be honest, what football team would you rather watch? The 2019 Ravens or the 2012 Ravens? You're taking the 2019 Ravens. You're taking MVP Lamar over any season in Ravens history in terms of watching. But in terms of enjoyment, for me, I'm taking the Super Bowl. And so, yes, Lamar Jackson is one of the most entertaining, unbelievable players to ever watch. If it's going to reduce the chance, because if it's, you know, because you have to pay him an absurd amount of money, I'd rather take the chance of being being able to win more. As much as I love Lamar Jackson, watching Lamar Jackson, if we got to have a Joe Flacco type to win the Super Bowl, I'm all in on the Joe Flacco type. And I'm not saying Joe Flacco type as being white. I'm saying Joe Flacco type as being boring. Before people come after me.
Oh, my God.
I want to get that out there.
Had to clear it up for the people.
Yeah, I clear it up. Sometimes people will be misconstruing things that I say. But like, and Joe got paid because Joe won the Super Bowl. Like, that's why Joe got paid. Joe didn't
and he
get
got
paid
Super Bowl,
he was
and
good.
he got Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, like Joe Flacco got the same amount of MVPs as Lamar. And was Lamar's way more fun to watch? Absolutely. Which was more enjoyable?
No,
I would rather finish a football season happy than happy throughout the entire season until the end.
No, seriously, man. I mean, you know, if you think about the grand scheme of things, if you think about a big picture, of course, you want a team built strong enough to go to the Super Bowl and win. Like I said, you know, the Ravens constantly keep talking about they won a Super Bowl, they try to build a Super Bowl caliber team, but they seem like they built a team that's strong enough to get you in the playoffs and keep you relevant. That's what we've been doing. I mean, honestly, that offense that we ran with Greg Roman at the OC, it kept us relevant, you know, because it was always an unexpected to that offense, you know. But at certain times you knew what was coming because it wasn't no creativity. So we've been preaching about it since we brought in Greg Roman. We want balance. We want a balanced enough offense where we can sustain drives, get touchdowns, get field goals, keep the lead, keep our defense off the field, and keep them fresh in order for us to get the ball back and make a push into the next season, which is the playoffs, and get us to the Super Bowl.
Tanya, this is a great question. So who's going to be your quarterback you think is plug and play? I ask, who do you think is going to get the Super Bowl? I have my answer right now.
Talk to him.
Let's say the Ravens trade Lamar and they get a top 10 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Trade that. Trade it. Trade that top 10 pick for a future pick. I don't care. Trade it.
Okay.
At pick 22, you take Hendon Hooker. Next year, you're not going to get Hendon Hooker for most of the year. You may get him for the very end of the season. Who does that remind you of? Oh, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. He's not that talented, but he is someone who it's like, I think he's the third best quarterback in the draft. I think he's really good.
He's solid.
I think, but at the same time, I think it's like Joe Burrow, right? Where it's like, okay, he's an older quarterback. He's smart. He's accurate. And, you know, I think it's Joe Burrow coming off of the ACL, right? Or I think it was ACL with Burrow when he got hurt his rookie year. And you're going to have him and you're going to start Snoop. And then next year, you're going to have a very, very high-end overall pick, and you're going to know, okay, is Hendon Hooker the guy or not? And you either Josh Rosen, and by Josh Rosen, I mean the Cardinals drafted Josh Rosen at like 11, and then the next year drafted Kyler Murray first overall because they're like, all right, he's not our guy.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, is he our guy? If he is, boom, that's great. Then what do you do with your very high draft pick because you were starting Tyler Huntley all year? You draft a wide receiver 1 in Marvin Harrison Jr. That would be my best scenario of scenarios that I can think of off the top of my head. There's other ones where you could do it, where you could just tank this year and get yourself a Williams next year, a Caleb Williams. But I think Hendon Hooker this year, if you want to look at the full rebuild, Hendon Hooker with a 5th-year option in the first round, because I think the 5th-year option is valuable. We saw how valuable it was with Lamar. Kept him here longer.
Oh man, me personally, I have Ravens 5. I don't care. Y'all gonna say what y'all gonna say. One, either go for Cam Newton and let him play, and let Anthony Brown come in and step in to finish the rest of the season, because I see Cam Newton possibly getting hurt. 2, you always can go after Malik Cunningham. Nobody brings him up, but he also went crazy in Louisville as well. And he's also known for his arm as well. So, or if you want to, you got Tyler Monk in here. Let's go at the Stetson Bennett, guys. 6th round. Do we have a 6th round pick?
Yeah, we do.
Let's go for him. You know, you got Tyler Monk and you got tight ends. But me personally, if you trade Lamar, let's do a whole rebuild. Let's package Mark Andrews as well. Give me some more picks and give me another player. I'm sorry, guys. I'm in the rebuild mode. I'm in a rebuild mode because I feel like some players are going to be unhappy. Yeah. I don't feel like everybody's going to be on the type of energy. Oh, we have this. We got this young QB. Let's go ahead and work. Let's go ahead and work with him. I'm gonna be your guy for you. XYZ. Nah, I feel like some guys gonna be like, "Hey, Lamar, you think there's room on the bus for me?" Some may be like that. I feel like, you know, and the reason I'm saying that too, because the guy that was a cap casualty that pretty much was like locked in on coming to Baltimore, Calais Campbell, because of Lamar Jackson and the potential of the offense, he's been traveling all around the NFL talking to whoever about cutting the deal. If he doesn't come back, that clearly that's in my eyes, that's an indicator that things are going to get blown up. And because he was one of those leaders, and you know, the reason you come, if you're an older guy, the reason you come back for another year is because you feel like you're going to be on a team that's a Super Bowl contending team. And he's talking to teams that's not Super Bowl contending, but he still obviously want to earn a check. So, hey man, I would love to see Lamar still hitting the purple black, but if not, maybe go, like I said, maybe go at the Cam Newton. Cam Newton looked good at Auburn. He's throwing at least 60 yards. So we know he's still got a little bit of juice in the arm left. Is he liable to get hurt? Of course, he is because of the style of ball he was playing. Um, I do believe Anthony Brown, with the right coaching, and he's groomed. We've seen what he could do. I mean, he stayed calm under pressure. I feel like he could be. I feel like he could be serviceable. I think he can get us to even 500. But I'm kind of ready to tank. Give me the 3 year. Give me the 3 year rebuild. I'm going Arch Manning, man.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be a full rebuild. It just could be, hey, we're like, going after things, and then boom, you trade, assets, and you're able to get a high end pick. And it's like, if we did the Hendon Hooker idea, maybe we're not that good in 3 years, and then boom, we can draft him, or it works out, and all of a sudden you have a great quarterback. And it's just like, there's not one way to succeed in the NFL other than having good management. Being good with the cap, being good with roster building is the only way to tell if a team has a chance at winning the Super Bowl. It's not about how good your quarterback is. It's not about how good your coach is. It is purely about how you manage the cap. Why did Tom Brady and the New England Patriots win 6 Super Bowls?
Tom Brady took pay cuts, and also they made things work.
Tom Brady took the pay cuts, and Bill Belichick told guys, I'm not going to pay you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chandler Jones, multiple time Super Bowl champion. I'm not going to pay you. I'll find somebody else. And he did. And he won Super Bowls without Chandler Jones. Oh, I'm sorry, Randy Moss.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay you. I'm going to win more without you than I did with you. That's how they did it. That's how the Chiefs are doing it. Oh, Tyreek Hill, you want a lot of money? Bye. How many people thought the Chiefs would be bad after they lost Tyreek Hill? A lot of people.
No,
What
that's
did they
nice.
do? They won the Super Bowl. Why? Because they were like, oh, we're going to spend a little bit more on defense now. It was like, boom. Perfect. Just like, all right. So it's just like,
And I mean, for the record, I can't say the cost is trash. I mean, he has a little bit more emphasis on the offensive side of the ball to a little degree more than Ozzie Newsome. I mean, we've been known for defense, but at the same time, uh, Broman, I just said no to AR. I love you, bro, but no AR-15. If we're going to get a quarterback out the draft, find a way to get a guy that is pro ready. I don't care if you find a way to go get Bryce. I don't care if you find a way to go get CJ Stroud. But AR-15 out the gate is not ready. He's not.
yeah.
So that's my whole thing with that, man. But
Yeah.
like I said, y'all don't let's not beat everybody down. EDC's been trying. Like I said, since he's taken over, he's been a little bit more offensive centric to a certain degree. Has it worked out? Here and there, moments, had flashy moments, but I will say this: whoever may be our new QB or even as Lamar for the next couple of years, um, we do have to do better um, in regards of getting guys. It's no way you trade someone's number one wide receiver and then pick up a center and you don't find a way to replace it. Like, if me personally, I just heard about Nelson Aguilar. If I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm like, bro, this is the best y'all could do. Y'all can't go get N'Keal Harry, Byron Pringle, somebody else under 30. Like, y'all get me someone that's pretty much is knocking at 30's door. Nelson Aguilar is 29. Just because he's back with some of his old wide receiver coaches, I'm supposed to get star stellar Nelson Aguilar now? I don't know, man. Somebody drop shot. You said Malik Cunningham isn't very NFL ready, but at the same time, he's going to be playing for the USFL, so he will be ready by the time training camp starts. Also, except the scouting team need to start watching some USFL games and XFL games. Shout out to the defenders; they are playing right now. Those guys get that feeling to have Monday Night Football for them. So shout out to those guys.
Yeah, and when it comes to those quarterbacks, and late round quarterbacks, whoever it is, if you miss, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Like if you miss on a 6th round quarterback and they don't turn into a superstar, that's fine. Most 6th round quarterbacks are taken to be backups.
That's true.
That have a chance, right? Like that's why we drafted. Like I wouldn't call Trace McSorley a miss. I think that was a good draft pick.
Honestly, I feel like he could have possibly worked in somebody's system. Like how the way Brock Purdy came alive, I feel like Trace McSorley could maybe. I feel like Trace McSorley can win you over 500 games. I'm gonna say it. The boy got a cannon on him. I mean, we gave him that work in the preseason game. Don't get me wrong, but
that's preseason Geno Stone right there.
You know. But my other sleeper pick, as far as QBs will be next year is oh my gosh, what's his name? Grayson. I think his name is Grayson McCall or Allen. Isaiah Likely's old QB out of
Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, he recently transferred over to University of Charlotte. He's pretty good.
Yeah, and looks like Ravens president Sashi Brown said, "We love Lamar. We're committed to getting something done."
Yeah, they gotta do damage control at this point. That's all. We get it.
Like, here's the thing: is like Lamar putting out that he wants to be traded. Like he wants to control the narrative purely. Like that's exactly what he wants. And you know what? You can try and control the narrative, but you're not going to convince NFL teams to give you a contract that you're not worth.
Man, I keep on saying, everybody get ready. Man, if you're a Ravens fan, spam one in the chat. If you're not a Ravens fan, spam 2. I need to know how many non-Ravens fans are in here tonight, man. I keep seeing everybody get ready for the bad years. I mean, hey, man, that comes with the territory. That happens. That's the sport. Yeah, okay. I see a lot of ones. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, man. We still gonna be Ravens fans, man. We still listen. We still gonna meet at the bank. We still gonna rock out, man. It's gonna be some games we're gonna lose horrible. It's gonna be some games that we're gonna win. It is what it is at this point. Do we still
looks like a lot of ones?
Yeah, man. We got an hour in. Do we still do the mock since it's Monday, or
I think we can do another. We can do mock another time.
All right.
All right, everyone. Thank y'all so much for coming through. Make sure to give the Apple Podcast a review. This will be up on Apple Podcasts as well. So if anybody wants to listen over there, please go ahead and do so. Thank you all so much. And we've already seen pretty 20 or 30% growth on podcast platforms since people started reviewing it. So, thank you everybody who already have, started doing that, and we'll see all of you again next time.